refined sugar strips your energy, like your natural energy levels. So you have a spike in blood sugar level, and then you have a crash, and then you have no energy, and you're like, what's that? Like, what happened? I only had a small chocolate bar. Well, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, and a full year, and that lets you save. Who cares?
Welcome to a brand new edition of Ageless Energy, where we talk about how to burn fat, increase energy, and balance hormones for women over 40. Over the past 20 years as a performance coach, I've worked with hundreds of women that have the exact same struggles you do. I hope to shine some light with this podcast on what can be the most challenging time of your life and let you know there is hope to find success with your health and what you're looking for. Please share and enjoy.
All right, welcome to another Ageless Energy Show. I'm excited to dive into this one. Today we're talking about the dangers of Halloween candy. Now, I'm not here to ruin anyone's fun, but we pride ourselves in offering at least hopefully valuable information, but leading with the truth. And I feel like you should at least know what's happening. This is specific for women 40, by the way, but I know what's happening with hormones, with bloating, with belly fat, overall body fat in particular, as you continue to indulge over the Halloween season, which may feel like just a candy or two, but I'm going to argue and debate with you that it's likely not. If you're not sure who I am, my name is Drew Tadia, founder and CEO of True Form Life. For the past 20 years, we've been helping women 40 plus increase energy, burn body fat, and balance hormones. So if that's you, you have come to the right place. Okay, so should we get into the bad news right away? I do believe you can have a candy or two. Like, I just think that often we don't realize, or we kind of justify, like we can justify just about anything, right? We justify that things are like, it's okay. Like, for example, I just did a video on sucralose, for example. So we work like sucralose in particularly protein supplements. So most cheap protein supplements have sucralose in them because it's the cheapest sweetener and it's abundantly found. So you have a manufacturer that makes a protein for a dozen different companies, right? And it's easier for them to grab one cheap sweetener because it's cheaper for them. Their margins are better and they can make more money. That's all there is to it. So when we start working with women in our Metabolism Accelerator program, or even women that come to us like, oh, I really like the looks of your protein, but I'm going to finish mine first. So you have to consider when you want to start seeing results, right? So if you want to start seeing results, you take immediate action right away. If someone joins our program and they're like, okay, I'm going to start doing that a little bit later. To me, it's like, okay, you've been waiting 20 years to see results. You finally pulled the trigger to make a decision to see more results. And then you're making decisions that is going to prevent you from seeing results, right? So it just doesn't add up if you're like a person that says, I want to see results right away. So here's the thing is that if you're having a protein supplement that has sucralose in it, for example, and that's just one ingredient, usually there's maltodextrin, there's additives, coloring, flavoring. We have a whole list, the whole PDF we send out for anyone's interested in the top 10 ingredients I recommend staying away from when it comes to supplements. And they're widely available in most generic types of supplements that you find at the pharmacy, the dollar store, Costco. These are things that, like, this is the reason we do what we do, is because so many people don't know what to buy, where to buy, what to take. And that's what I want to clear up for you in particular. But when it comes to like a product, like a cheap protein supplement, a lot of women they start, like if they're working with us, let's say, for example, they start eating better and they're working out or exercising, but then they're putting these low quality toxic substances into their body and they still have the bloating, they still have joint pain, and they're not really sure why they're not seeing the results they're hoping for. And then there's me sitting here talking to you guys. And I'm going to tell you why Halloween candy does just that. And on top of that, those other low quality products, like a protein supplement, we think we're doing our body a good thing because we know we need protein, not getting enough of it from food, so we supplement. But that's causing more issues because it's low quality and has really low quality supplements, and that's all there is to it. So that was a little bit of a rant. A side rant. I got some notes here for you guys, but I think it's important to understand, so for us, we look at three areas, which I mentioned previously. So hormone balancing, increasing energy, and burning body fat. If you are snacking on Halloween candy for I have no idea. We don't keep it in our house, but I'd imagine Halloween candy's at the bank, it's at the post office, it's at the grocery store, it's at your work, it's in the staff room, it's on the kids everywhere, right? And you probably, some of you probably have a couple here and there and don't think it's really doing much, but I think it is. I really do. I think it's causing more issues than you know. And for those three, so refined sugar, I'm going to go through this in more detail here, but refined sugar strips your energy, like your natural energy levels. So you have a spike in blood sugar level, and then you have a crash, and then you have no energy, and you're like, what happened? I only had a small chocolate bar. Well, that's exactly what happened. When you have, I'm going to talk about hormone balancing here in a second, but then you have burning body fat, right? Well, how could you expect your body to burn body fat? The refined sugar and all the other nonsense, just like I was talking about with like sucralose, for example, when they put the sucralose in a cheap protein supplement, there's usually 3 or 4 other products like natural flavoring, for example, that I wouldn't recommend. It's the same thing with the chocolate bar. You may think, refined sugar is not that bad. But when I'm saying refined sugar, when I'm talking about a chocolate bar, there's probably a dozen ingredients in there I probably wouldn't recommend. So it's not just the refined sugar, just easier to mention that. There's a number of different ingredients that is detrimental to our health. And like, for example, you're having these chocolate bars or candies throughout the last couple of weeks or the next couple of weeks. And it's not that bad, but then you don't have any energy and you're wondering why that. And then your hormones are unbalanced and you're like, what's happening? And then you're accumulating body fat, or you're not able to, you feel like you're eating well and you're exercising, but you're still snacking on these candies and you're not seeing the results you're hoping for. And you're like, what's happening? Right. And then on top of that, you probably don't want to tell your coach that you're snacking on these candies because you know what I'm going to tell you. So when it comes to sugar spikes in particular, sugar spikes insulin and cortisol levels, right? So do we know what that means? Cortisol levels is an easy one. When you put sugar in your body, you're spiking your cortisol levels. That is helping your body retain body fat. That puts your body in a flight or fight state. It's really difficult for your body, energetically, your body is in a heightened state, and we want to be in a normal, natural, relaxed state. Everything flows better that way. So you continue to put this refined sugar in your body through all these little Halloween candies, and you're spiking your cortisol level. And that's keeping your body in this fight or flight state, which is what we need to avoid. Very similar with insulin. We can't have these continual spikes in our blood sugar because that's detrimental to our health in many different ways. So both of these unbalance our hormones. So usually when women come to us, and when they're particularly looking for hormone balancing, or they know their hormones are out of whack, we start to work on digestion. So these types of ingredients and these types of foods or food-like substances, they damage our gut bacteria. Anytime you damage your gut bacteria, you're unbalancing your hormones. So it's super important for you to pay attention to everything you put in your body. And I mean, there's a lot more to that. Let me keep moving. If you look at, so in your 40s, estrogen and progesterone, they naturally fluctuate. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have refined sugar, this is where it really hits harder, because you can see it more often. Like, we have my goddaughter here. She just walked by, and she's quite young. She doesn't have to worry about these types of things, or she doesn't. If she has, let's say, for example, she has refined sugar, she would see a spike in her blood sugar levels. She might have more energy, would probably have a crash, but she's not going to see so much in the more of the hormone imbalancing, for example, like night sweats, maybe a little bit moody. But more particularly, maybe the bloating, for example. Like, you guys know what it's, most of you know what it's like to go through that stage, that a menopausal type of state. So that's something to understand or to realize, is that is more apparent, especially in this age group, because we work with women 40 plus, and we have to realize that those continual little snacky refined sugar keeps our body in that heightened state, and then continually damaging our digestion, which is continually unbalancing our hormones. So there's a lot to it. And I think that if we start to clean up our diet and we start to pay attention to all the little candies, and I feel like how we do one thing is how we do everything. And we think that the 80-20 works, but it doesn't really work. Because in most cases, when someone tells me they're doing 80-20, I look at a meal plan or I look at their workout routine, and it's the opposite. They're on track 20% of the time and off track 80% of the time. But with the 80-20 mindset, it's backwards, right? Okay, let me dive into here a little bit deeper. I feel like that might be a lot, but I don't want you to think you can never have a candy, or you can never have dessert, or you can never have a Coke, let's say. I just think that by not realizing what you're doing to your body, it takes you a longer period of time to see results, and then you have more frustration, and then there's more of an opportunity for you to give up. So you can enjoy some of these things once in a while, but the seasons are so long. Like, we have Halloween, so I guess depending on what side you're on, there was Thanksgiving for Canada, and then we have Halloween, and then there's Thanksgiving for the US, and then there is the holidays, which is usually 4 to 6 weeks. And then we have New Year's, and then you have the whole list of other holidays that go into the new year. And by not realizing what you're doing to your body on a regular basis is probably the reason that you're stuck and not seeing the results you're hoping for. And often, like, you could be involved in a good program, or you could be eating well, but it's all those little things that you're adding in that you probably shouldn't be. And you shouldn't be, but maybe if I could reach you on a different level and help you understand, like, it's not just maybe a little bit of body fat, but it's certainly hormones, and it's certainly digestion, and it's certainly the mental belly and the bloating that doesn't have to be there. You can make changes to adjust that, but you have to put in the effort. And I think that starts with knowledge. So when it comes to like metabolism slowing in particular, I just have your muscle mass actually declines. So the other thing with refined sugar, it actually takes minerals from your bones and makes your bones weaker. So we all have to look at, or have to consider, the thought of osteoporosis as we get older, because our muscle mass declines with age. That's all there is to it. And some people have hit that a little bit harder. And that's the thing, is like, gosh, this is a tough one for a lot of people to understand, but like, you could consider all of us having osteoporosis, right? Because if the very definition of declining bone mass, but some people get hit a little bit harder and they're actually diagnosed, right? I have different thoughts around that. But my point here is that a lot of times people live a lifestyle like this when there's candy all over the place, and then they get hit with a diagnosis and they're like, oh, that's so odd. They live healthy, but we don't really know, right? I hear that so often, like, oh, I can't believe that happened to that individual. They seem really healthy, but we don't really know unless you're living with them and seeing exactly what the actions they're taking on a regular basis. And that's something I want you guys to consider. Like, I feel like this is a bit doom and gloom of you can't have any Halloween candy. That's not my point. My point is that managing expectations, and then understanding on a deeper level, like those of you that are watch how I teach on a regular basis. You're not surface level. You're not the types of people that have no idea about health or nutrition or what's happening to your body. A lot of you have a really good idea of what's going on, so you can make those adjustments and you can make those changes. I actually had a really good question maybe I'll answer it another time. I had a really good question about one of our ingredients in our products, and it was a little bit of a gray area because of how the industry works. And I just thought it was a really great question to ask, because most people just don't know. And I think as our audience hangs around our community, the more they learn, the more they know, and the more they can improve their health. So good for you guys for being here. I did mention this. So well, I guess you could look at calories in particular. So candy calories, they stick faster, and they're stored as more belly fat. So these are called empty calories, or what the industry would call empty calories. So you have calories from natural food. So it could be sweet potatoes, it could be quinoa, it could be broccoli, it could be chicken or steak, whatever it is. So you have your calories, and then you have your empty calories, which I would say they don't do much for your health. They don't do much for your body. So a bag of chips, cookies, I want to say popcorn, but popcorn could be considered healthy depending on what you put in it. Not kettle cooked popcorn.
One of the things I would like to ask of you guys is that some of you know that I don't run ads on the show and don't plan on in the immediate future. So the only ask I have for you is that you help us spread the word so we can help more women burn body fat, increase energy, and balance their hormones. And the only way that we can do that is if you can rate and review this podcast. So the single thing that I could have you do, or could ask of you, is to leave a review. It'll take 5 minutes or one swipe of the thumb. It would mean the absolute world to me. And more importantly, you could change the world for someone else. As many of you know, there's plenty of women that struggle in this age group for balancing hormones, increasing energy, and burning body fat. So if you could help spread the word, that would make a big difference in our life and probably someone else's as well.
So you have your junk food, those are empty calories, and then you have your regular food, like whole food that we should be eating. Those are actually calories that are turn into energy, like turn into kilojoules, which turn into energy, which fuel our body. You have your empty calories, like your candies, your chocolate bars, and those are toxins in our body. So those are stored as body fat because they're not able to turn, your body's not able to turn that into proper energy. Maybe like a spike in sugar, blood sugar level, but not like to give you a sustainable boost of energy. So the problem there is that as you put toxins into your body puts fat cells around those toxins to protect your body. It's amazing, like to me, on the nerdy side, is like your body's like, whoa, we don't know what to do with that. We can't process it, digest it, absorb it. So we're going to put fat cells around it. We're going to protect our body from it so it doesn't hit like internal organs, let's say. And I think that's really cool. But you have to understand those empty calories are much more inclined to be stored as body fat. So as you continue to snack a little bit extra on Halloween candies, that's what could be happening. I did mention here, I have here your gut. I also want to mention immune system, but so your gut, right? We have our body is in two states, either an acidic state or an alkaline state. Our body needs to be in the alkaline state to have a stronger immune system. So if you look at refined sugar, processed food, some type of meat products, some dairy products, they put your body more in an acidic state, which is why it's so important to have your veggies and to have proper digestion and eat fermented foods and not put low quality candies or junky protein supplements with sucralose and maltodextrin and propylene glycol. Like that, it puts our body in an acidic state, and that damages or makes our immune system weaker, and we're not able to fight off dis-ease in our body as much as someone that wouldn't put that food in their body, or someone that has more of an alkaline state of being. So that's one thing it's important to understand. So the candies, the refined sugar, acidic state, weaker immune system, and we're not able to fight off, like we know right now, like this season is, I don't like to mention it, but it's the FLU season, right? And a lot of people are dealing with immune system issues, and that, like, it's really, I put this post up about it's not the FLU season, it's actually the refined sugar, no sunlight season. So if you have vitamin D plus K2 in your diet, but you also need magnesium in there with magnesium. So your body, like your D and K2 and magnesium, they all work together. They absorb, they flow. That's much different than if you throw calcium in there, like your magnesium and calcium. We have to stop that. I don't even think they should be selling that at stores. Your calcium takes over. There's no absorption from magnesium. And you look at the bottle and you say, oh, I get 200 milligrams of magnesium with this pill. And you're not getting any because of the calcium absorption. So that's something I would recommend staying away from. But when it comes to magnesium, vitamin D, K2, we're not getting as much sunlight. We're not spending much time outside. The days are because it's cold. The days are shorter, so there's less sunlight. So you're getting less vitamin D. That's number one. And we're having more refined sugar because of Halloween, Christmas, etc. And that's what's happening to our immune system. It's not like, oh my gosh, this giant virus is running through everyone. It's the actions that we're taking. We're doing it to ourselves. And I think we need to understand that. And you can get around that by proper supplementation, putting an effort to spend more time outside. But okay, so that was more on the immune system, but your digestion in particular, we have to understand that is directly linked, like our immune system is directly linked to our gut bacteria, right? So by having strong gut bacteria, we can have a healthier immune system. We can be stronger through these times of the year. So I think I already mentioned putting proper foods in your body, like whole foods. I mean, fermented foods. You could be looking at kimchi, kombucha, miso. There's a number of different. You could have a good quality probiotic. A number of different areas there for you to support your gut, which will then support your immune system, and then will help you avoid the hormone imbalancing, the accumulation of body fat, a slower metabolism, and then zero energy, right? I have been talking quite a bit about our immune system throughout the month. This is a theme. Next week, I'm working to have a masterclass. If you want details, let me know in the comments. It's going to be I'm looking at a 7 p.m. masterclass to help you guys deep dive into the proper supplements that you should be consuming and what's really going to help your immune system during the season. Some of it will be our supplements, and I'm going to mention other supplements as well that we don't carry or we don't sell. I know I'm running short on time here. I want to mention a couple more things and I'll let you go. I'll let you go in about 5 minutes. How about sleep and energy? Super important. So when you're putting those types of foods, like these are stimulants, right? So you can look at a lot of people that alcohol, tobacco, refined sugar. I'm not just talking about like your Halloween candies, but you have your chips, your cookies, your pop, whatever it is. You're having that in the evening. And on top of that, you're watching like a stimulated action movie. You're reading a suspenseful book. You're scrolling through your news feeds that like your news feed is very similar to mainstream media now. They're trying to get you emotionally connected to whatever they're saying. So that's actually a stimulant. So we're doing all these things right before bed. And like you hit the pantry and you grab a couple candies or because they're on the table. And that is a stimulant and it's not putting our body into a restful state and getting ready for sleep. So a lot of times you're not getting the sleep you need. This is important because a lot of women in particular in this age group, they deal with that brain fog, and that brain fog stems from the actions that we're taking. So if you're not getting the sleep, it's really difficult in this age group because you're dealing with the hormone imbalancing. It could be night sweats. It could be not falling asleep, not falling into deeper sleep. So you can look at Mag10 or magnesium threonate in the evening. It's really good to put your mind and body in a restful state, but Mag10 is the only magnesium that can break the blood-brain barrier. So it can actually put your mind at rest and relax your mind. That's super important. There's very few supplements that can do that. So that's a bit of a hack for you. But when we're in a heightened state, it makes it very difficult for us to be able to fall asleep and stay asleep. And again, that's super important for women in particular. But that brain fog, you actually have it's called your glymphatic system, and it actually helps your brain kind of detox and refresh. So when you don't have a restful night's sleep, that's why you wake up groggy and we're not really thinking clearly, because your glymphatic system didn't have a chance to do what it's supposed to do, clear that mind, get you reset and ready to go that next morning, which is why I like spirulina tabs in the morning. I like MCT oil, maca. These all help naturally wake you up and kind of shake you out of that foggy state. And I would suggest those in a morning shake is the easiest way to make that happen. Before I wrap things up, we do have a Halloween special. So we have one regular protein, we have one activated charcoal, and then we have one pumpkin liquid mag. That's going to be a bundle that's 30% off. That's only till Sunday. So from today till Sunday. So if you want that discount code, just comment below and we'll send it your way. Why spirulina tabs? Partially why I just mentioned. It's really nice a nice boost of energy, jam-packed with protein, 40 vitamins and minerals. Because of our immune systems, we're not getting the minerals that we need to have that strong immune system. Spirulina also helps with gut health as well. So a number of different benefits to spirulina. We have our liquid magnesium, our pumpkin. This is our seasonal flavor. We only bring these out maybe quarterly or maybe a little bit less. Or maybe a little bit more. Anyways, it's a seasonal flavor, only comes out once a year. And once it's gone, it's gone. So this is available in the bundle only. So if you want to grab that, it's fantastic. It's one of our favorite seasonal flavors. And then we have our activated charcoal. So activated charcoal is great for detoxing. It's great for that bloat. It's great for digestion. So basically everything I talked about. This is why we put this bundle together. So definitely activated charcoal, 2 tabs before bed. And it helps detox in many different ways, which is fantastic for this time of year when you may be indulging in Halloween candy or other extra like Halloween parties or other extracurricular activities. But I want to respect your time. I did have a few things here on my notes, but I'm going to leave that for another time. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments, or if we can help with anything at all, just shoot us a message. All of our products and services can be found at trueformlife.com. So head over there if you want some more information. Have a great day, everyone.